Hello and welcome back to the Game School Dad channel with me, Martin. And today we're looking at the Black Color Challenge in Magic the Gathering Arena. So, let's go on and play some matches with the black deck. Okay, here we go with our first match. We're going to be playing against the green deck, and then the white, the red, and the blue in that order. So, Cold-Blooded Killers is our deck. We're going to have some instants that are good at killing creatures, and some creatures of our own that grow when we kill the opponent's creatures and when we do damage to them. So first of all, we have our Swamplands and our Death Touch Rat. Of course, our Typhoid Rats with Death Touch to kill any big creatures that come our way. Second Swamp. And this is an instant that can kill things, so we're going to keep hold of that. Play out our vampires that grow. And attack with the rat. Alright, so Woodland Mystic. It's a creature that adds mana. So let's put our third swamp. We can put our vampire that grows. And then, why don't we just use Compound Fracture? Give his creature -1/-1, and when the creature's got -1/-1, it goes to 0 toughness, which means it dies. Our creatures get stronger, a bit like with the white deck, gaining counters when you gain life. The black deck is the opposite, gains counters when we kill things. Right, another swamp, and another 1/1 creature. Now, Compound Fracture has an additional ability of doing more damage or reducing power and toughness by more if we have Compound Fractures in our graveyard. So this is actually going to do -2/-2. But either way, it kills the creature. Our vampires grow. We have no defenders left, so let's just attack straight to the hit points. Alright, another 1/1. Do we get another? We don't get another Compound Fracture. We have 5 lands now. We could attack with all. The Woodland Mystic would take out Typhoid Rats most likely. We're still going to do 6 damage. If we just attack with the 2 3/3s, they could block one of those. And we'd only do 3 damage. And in fact, even if we attack with the rat, there's a chance they'll block the vampire anyway to prevent as much damage as possible. So I feel like we're probably safe doing that. We kill the creature. They get some damage through, and then after that, the triggers resolve for gaining counters, and they have nothing left. So let's just attack. And there you go. Nice Compound Fracture instant to get rid of their little defenders, to clear the way for our creatures to attack through and to gain counters when theirs die. Okay, so that's black against green. Now we've got black against white. So again, we have the life gain priests that we're fighting against that are going to get bigger if we don't deal with them as quickly as possible. So we want to get rid of their creatures before they grow. So we have a swamp, and we have a skeleton. It's a 1/2 skeleton. Has a special ability that if it's dead, we can return it from the graveyard to our hand. Okay, second swamp out. We can't play our creature here, Savage Gorger, because it needs 3 mana. We can hold up Compound Fracture, which is an instant, and Cruel Cut, which is an instant that will destroy a creature as well. So we might as well attack with our little skeleton, do a little bit of damage, and hold on to these 2 instants to see if we need them here. So we have a Shrinekeeper. It's a 2/2. We could kill it. Now, knowing this deck, they might come out with some life gain priests that are going to be a bigger problem to us than the Shrinekeeper is. But while we're here, let's just destroy the Shrinekeeper. In a match against other people, you might want to hold on to things like that. If you know they've got bigger threats in, you might want to hold on to the murder cards for later on. But in this one, I think we're pretty safe. See, we could have saved it for this and killed the Impassioned Orator first, because this is the one that helps them gain life. We don't really want that to happen. We've only got Cruel Cut in our graveyard, so Compound Fracture isn't going to help right now. Or is it? How about we just attack with all? So he can block, but we can use Compound Fracture on his creature, turn it into a 1/1. So our skeleton can kill his creature, our skeleton survives, and hey, let's put out the other skeleton we have anyway. Savage Gorger gains another +1 counter because the opponent lost life this turn, so we get another counter. Okay, another priest. Now, what can we do here? We can just attack with a Savage Gorger. It's flying, it'll do some damage to him, he can't block. Or we can attack with the skeletons as well. Now, he can block one of them, but he can't block both. He can kill the skeleton, but we can also return the skeleton to our hand, and because we have enough lands left over, we can play out the skeleton again, gain the counter on Savage Gorger for doing damage to him, and we've still got our creatures. Okay, so here's the priest. It's getting stronger. He can attack. I think I'll take 2 damage. I don't mind taking some damage. Means he has less blockers. Okay, we have Compound Fracture in the graveyard and another Compound Fracture in our hand, which means this one is going to give his creatures -2/-2. So let's just remove the priest now and then attack with everything. 6 damage from our creatures and another counter on our Savage Gorger. So we now have potential for 7 damage here. But we have... oh, he's got 8 health now anyway because he gained another life. So we could attack with both of those. Doesn't make a huge difference either way. We can attack with everything. Just do a little bit more damage. He's down to 2. We want to play out this other Savage Gorger because that's going to get a counter on it now that the opponent lost some life. And we can bring the skeleton back to our hand. We haven't got quite enough to play it again, but we don't really need to. We could block, but we're not going to die from that damage. And if we're not going to die from that damage, I don't care if I block it or not. You can use your life points as a resource. Until that's near 0, we shouldn't have to worry against this deck. And we can get past him again with our flying creatures. So, that's the black versus the white deck. And next we have black versus red. We'll finish on blue next after this one. So, black versus red. Again, lots of little creatures. Compound Fracture might come in handy here, or Cruel Cut to remove those smaller creatures, and flying again. Hopefully comes out here because we know that the red deck can't deal with flying very easily. Okay, we've got a skeleton. We have Compound Fractures. Oh, we have a 2/2 here. And we have this Nightmare. 6 mana to put out this Nightmare creature. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of swamps we control, so it will grow as we put out more lands. But for now, let's put out our 2 swamps. We're going to attack, and we're going to let him decide to block because it seems obvious that our creature's going to die, he's going to survive, but no, the poor goblin is not going to survive because we can give him a Compound Fracture, put him down to a 1/1, remove their creature, keep ours alive, try and keep the battlefield a bit more clear, or another Spell Gorger. So is he going to attack? No, because it doesn't have haste, so he can't attack. We have 1 swamp left up here. We can use this Compound Fracture to give him -2/-2. And in fact, I think I want to deal with this now rather than wait till my turn. Okay, well, either way, we have Unlikely Aid, an instant which will give our creature +2 damage, +0 to toughness, and gain Indestructible until end of turn. So we'll save that for when it comes up, when it's needed. But for now, let's hold on to that as well. Another Spell Gorger. And back to my turn. Okay. So, 4 mana out. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life for 7 mana. So it's an expensive ability, but quite good later on if you have lots of lands and you want to use that mana on something. So we can attack with our skeleton. The unlikely aid will give it +2/+0, so it'll be a 3/2. So good enough to kill a Spellgorger and indestructible as well. So I'm going to attack. Let him decide to block because it seems obvious to do that. And then surprise him with unlikely aid. And we have a 3/2 indestructible skeleton and enough mana here to play out the vampire as well. So we haven't done much damage, but we've managed to get rid of his creatures as they've come out. 5 mana now, getting close to casting our Nightmare. And we have unlikely aid again, +2/+0 and indestructible. So this will be a 3/2 or this will be a 4/1. And indestructible either way. So let's just attack with both. Let him decide which one to block. He wants to take this one out, but nope, we're going to surprise him with unlikely aid. Kill his creature, do 1 more damage to him. And now he's got 6 mana, hasn't done anything with it, which is interesting. And we now can cast our Nightmare, which is going to be a 6/6 because we have 6 swamps out already. Cast our Nightmare, and we can attack the skeleton and our vampire. Opponent doesn't do anything. Oh, here we go, a shock. So he's killed the vampire, but that's fine. We have a big Nightmare 6/6 creature here. Yeah, can't deal with at the moment. And also, it grows because we put out another land. It's now a 7/7. So, 8 more damage, 7 hit points left. If he can't deal with our Nightmare, which it looks like he can't, then we're going to win next turn. And although he's killed our skeleton, we have all our lands available. We can revive it if we want to. And we can even, not that we need it, play out our Mardu Outrider, which as an additional cost to cast it requires us to discard a card. We have the skeleton in our hand. We can play out the Outrider, discard the skeleton, and there we go. In fact, we can even bring the skeleton back to our hand. And we still have 1 land left. We can play that again. So we've kind of discarded the card and brought it back. But all of that doesn't really matter because we're going to attack with a 7/7 Nightmare this turn anyway. So you've got 7 life points left. So that's enough to take him down to 0. We're still on 20. So there we go. That's the black versus the red deck. Now we're down to our very last one. Black versus the blue deck. Right, so here we go. Black against the blue deck. So we have to watch out for unsummons and lots of flying creatures. We want to try and get rid of the opponent's blockers as quickly as possible so that they can't do damage to us that we can't block. Okay, so attacks. Let's put out Swamp, Coldblade, and let's attack with the Rat. So he can block if he wants to. He's going to die. Our creature's going to get stronger. Seems like a pretty good trade to me. Okay. Next we have Murder. Now we could play out Outrider. Get a 5/5. We can't attack this turn because he can block. And creatures with flying will cost 1 less to cast. So maybe if we get rid of that, it's going to slow them down. Can't put out creatures quite so fast. And we can attack with our 3/3. Because it's still growing. Right, Cloudkin Seer. So you've got 1 mana left. So we can only put out 1 that turn, not 2. Let's put out a Swamp. So we have an Outrider. Or we have a Skeleton Archer. I quite like the Skeleton Archer because we put that out. It could do 1 damage to any target. And we can take out another Cloudkin Seer. So our Coldblade is getting even stronger. Nothing can block it. And we hit him for 4 damage. So what's next? Another Cloud Conceer. Okay, and a Sworn Guardian. Right, what can we do here? We can put out a Swamp. Let's see, he can do 3 damage if I block. Can't do 4. I could put out a Vampire here. I could put out Eternal Thirst on the Archer. If I put out Eternal Thirst on the Archer, then I still can't attack with it. This lifelink would be nice. Maybe if I put out a 4/4 flying creature and I attack with the Cold Blade at least, I can take the damage or block. Either way, we're doing a good job there. And we have another Cloud Conceer. It's running lower on cards. Okay, we have Eternal Thirst. So, we have a 4/4 flyer. We can't attack with a 4/4 flyer unless we want it to die. Don't really want that to die. Any of these things we attack with, going to die if we attack with them. So maybe what we could do is put out Eternal Thirst on the Skeleton Archer here. And I feel like maybe I could put it on. Could I put it on the Cold Blade and it will grow stronger even faster? Or I could put it on the Vampire here. Attack with the Vampire, he could block and kill it, but will still gain 4 life. And these 2 creatures will get stronger. So that's pretty good. Maybe I'll try putting it on the Vampire here. I know he's likely to want to kill the Vampire. And he can do that if he blocks. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. He can basically only kill 1 creature here. So if we spread out the counters we get here, the Eternal Thirst here and here, we can attack with all 3. You can't kill all of them. There you go, you're going to kill the Vampire, which is fine. We do all that damage, we gain some life, and all these triggers resolve where we get extra counters on our Archer and our Cold Blade. We can return it to our hand. Fair enough. Aha, so let's see. I could put out either of these. But what I'm going to do is, I think, put out the Outrider here. I have to discard a card. Play it. So I'm going to discard the Cold Blade here because we're right near the end of the match, and I want to attack. See what he does. He blocks there. I can do Compound Fracture to make him a little bit weaker. Kill the creature, gain some life. And now he's got 2 little creatures. 3 creatures. Got a 6/6 and a 5/5. So I can take some damage. I don't mind if he attacks me. I'm doing very good for life right now. And we have a Soul Hunter Rakshasa. So we can attack. He can block. We have 2 creatures. They have 2 creatures. They can unsummon it. Get back to our hand. But they don't know the secret weapon we have here. The Soul Hunter Rakshasa, when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target opponent for each swamp we control. We have 5 swamps, which means by playing this out, we're going to do 5 damage to his hit points. There we go. Even though he's sending our creatures back to our hand, the Soul Hunter Rakshasa is able to finish it off with some direct damage to the hit points. So even if they have lots of creatures to block, you can get around them sometimes, depending on what you have. Alright, well that's the colour challenge for the black starter deck against all the other starter decks. Now next we're going to be doing the other colour challenges. So have a look for the next video where we do the other colour challenges, and leave comments below here if you want to tell us, did you get stuck on any of these matches? Maybe against the blue one. Some people have got a bit stuck using the black deck against the blue deck. So let me know, and I will see you in the next video.